Good afternoon, and welcome to our presentation of OneStream overview. My name is Graham Finney, and I'm with Performance Analytics. With me is Stephen Cromwell from OneStream Software and Peter Digby from Performance Analytics as well. And Stephen, can you go to the first slide? So just to remind everyone that last week we did a presentation on Life After BPC, and as a follow-up we suggested that a OneStream presentation would be available this week, and that's where we're at. So I just want to remind you, Peter's the president of our company. He and I are the founders of Performance Analytics. I'm the chief operating officer. We've spent a number of years in this business, and we're happy to introduce Stephen to present OneStream. So I'll hand it over to Stephen. Peter's having some problems with his connection, so he's going to try and work on that while Stephen does the presentation.
All right. So hello, everyone. I'm going to go off camera while I present. So today what I'm going to do is walk you through an overview of the OneStream platform and just give you a general sense of what we do and how we're different. So OneStream at its core, we provide performance management platform that enables our customers to have the solutions that they need to manage their business. Now, when we talk about performance management, we typically talk about two things: what happened, closing the books, establishing the book of record, doing all of your reporting, and then the what could happen, the planning, budgeting, and forecasting. What a lot of offices of finance are getting more concerned with is this part in the middle, this what's happening now. And what it really means is leveraging operational data alongside the financial data to be able to steer the business in a much more nimble way. So rather than waiting for end of period reporting, being able to have access to that operational level of detail at any given moment to make decisions that will impact business outcomes. So I always like to talk about at least one case study here. So this is one of my favorites. So Teledyne Technologies recently they won an award after transforming their finance operations using OneStream. So right off the bat, they realized some immediate efficiency savings by cutting their close process in half from 8 to 9 days to 4 to 5 days. They've also realized some immediate hard dollar savings by taking their account reconciliation process out of a competitive solution, in this case Blackline, and moving it into OneStream, saving them over $100,000 per year. But my favorite part of this story is how they leveraged those operational details that I was just talking about. One of their biggest challenges was bringing together all of their procurement data from 26 different entities across the globe. It had been a challenge previously, but through the OneStream platform and our data quality engine, we were able to bring in that procurement data from all 26 entities, clean it up, and present it to them in a way that they hadn't been able to do before. And they used that perfectly clean data to see exactly where they were spending their money. And they used that to consolidate vendors, consolidate contracts, negotiate better volume discounts. And that initiative saved them hundreds of basis points each year, which in their words equaled out to be dozens of millions of dollars a year. So I like this story because you see a glimpse of the efficiency, the hard dollar technology savings, and then all that's to be had from leveraging the platform for strategic ends. So when we talk about performance management, historically speaking, it's a very modularized set of tools. You could have multiple tools related to the closing, the consolidation. You could have multiple more tools related to the planning, budgeting, and forecasting. These need to be tied together with reporting, one or more reporting solutions, so you can actually get the data in a digestible way. But what you don't often think about when cobbling together a number of different tools and modules is that there's a dimensionality that's required in each one of these. So for example, an operational planning solution typically isn't enough to meet the needs of all of the different various entities within a single organization. So that requires you to have to buy multiple instances, or you have to do a lot of your detail work in Excel and push the summary into the operational planning solution so that it's all consistent. It's an issue that a lot of companies are facing with with their suite of solutions. Now, the end goal is to get the right information to the right people at the right time and in the right format. And with this many potential pieces, as well as the inherent dimensionality, that's going to be extremely complicated. Now, the complication, of course, is in the tying together of these systems and moving data back and forth. We have a value transformation team here at OneStream that estimate that nearly 80% of the work is done here in this tying together of all the systems, and it creates a vast amount of technical debt, which is just being on the hook to pay for, troubleshoot, fix, upgrade, maintain, and otherwise manage this complicated web. So this is the problem that OneStream was built to solve. We are not multiple solutions or multiple modules or tools. We are a single platform that enable our customers to house all of their CPM in one single application. We take data from multiple sources in any organization, ERPs, and more. We bring it in. We are our own ETL tool, so you don't need to transform the data prior to bringing it into OneStream. We can do all of that right there, and more importantly, finance can do that without having to leverage IT. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But we take that data, we clean it up, and then we can use it across multiple functions. We can use it for the close and consolidation, planning, budgeting, and forecasting. Your reporting is available here as well, so there's no need to kick it out to a BI tool like Power BI or anything of the like. And then we can use it for other solutions as well, like I mentioned, account recs, transaction matching, etc. So before I get into the actual demo of the platform and talk about some of the differentiators, just a quick note about who we are. So right now we're sitting at over 1,300 customers. We've grown significantly, especially over the last 3 years. We've doubled our customer base since the start of COVID. We're global, and we work in multiple verticals. We don't specialize in any one vertical, but the flexible nature of our platform enables us to configure the platform to meet the unique use cases and needs of all of the ones that you see here and more. Just wanted to flash a quick logo slide here talking about some of our customers. Right now, we have over 350 SAP ERP customers using OneStream. So we work very, very closely with SAP to be able to report and do the performance management side of that. Now, I've used the word platform quite a bit. When we talk about platforms, I want to talk about how we define it. We define platform in the simplest sense. We are software on which you can build software. So we've been using the iPhone analogy quite a bit. The iPhone, has a platform, iOS, and then in that platform, inherent to that platform is native functionality. So things like contacts, location services, all of those things. And then on top of that, you have your solutions. You have your mail app, or you have your third-party solutions, and they all come together to use that same data that's inherent to the platform. OneStream works in a very similar way. We are a platform with building blocks, with fundamental pieces that we're going to talk about in just a second. And using those pieces, these solutions can be built and configured to help customers better manage their business. So how has our platform evolved? So we start with our core services. That's our data quality, our metadata structure, our governance. On top of that, we built in financial intelligence, meaning we understand the difference between an asset and a liability account. We've employed a unique differentiator called extensible dimensionality, which I'm going to be showing you in just a bit, which enables customers to do this all in a single application. We've brought in relational blended analytics services, which really is the key to being able to delve into those operational details and really get to the bottom of what's happening in your business. And then on top of that, we've built our solution exchange to make the performance management journey more extensible by being able to add in things like account recs, task manager, and specialty planning solutions. And then lastly, in the most recent development is us bringing on an AI services layer to allow us to do the level of analytics where we can bring in an AI solution to do time series forecasting that works with all of the various planning solutions on the platform. So I'm going to go through my demo, and as I do, I'm going to walk through some examples of these. Now, the first thing I mentioned was our core services, and as I mentioned, it's a unified data model using a centralized metadata structure. We are, a data quality engine runs this whole process. Again, we don't need an ETL tool. because data can come in any format, and the transformation can be done directly in OneStream. And then around all this is governance. When we talk about governance, we talk about this concept of workflows. Now, workflows are guardrails to ensure that the right process gets done by the right person at the right time, and that the eventual reporting from that process is 100% accurate. So what I want to do is this is an example of a workflow for bringing in and import data. Now, workflows are around bringing in data that can also be around doing your quarterly forecast, doing your annual budget. So what I want to do is, instead of talking through this slide, I'm actually going to go into OneStream, and I'm going to walk you through part of a month-end close process that leverages a workflow here. We're going to load a file, we're going to transform that file, and then we're going to escalate that into the reporting layer. So this is my demonstration application that I use when showing OneStream. It's a fictional company called Gulfstream. Gulfstream provides goods and services to the golf industry. And when I come in as a super user who can see pretty much a lot of different things that were built on this demo application that are at my disposal. So I have multiple flavors of reporting here. I can come into planning, where I can do everything from high-level long-term strategic plans down to my quarterly forecasts, my annual budget, even ESG reporting. Consolidation is where I'm going to go to show you the workflow example. In these use cases, this is where I'm coming in to actually close the month. Now, in my demo world, we are closing the month of June. And so when I look over here, we can see the major steps of the workflow that need to happen each and every month. So the first thing that we do is bring in our trial balance. Now, Gulfstream is an SAP shop, so we bring in this automatically through a direct database connection via a scheduler. Many of these workflow steps can be automated, so they're lights out and they happen on a regular basis, and somebody would only need to get involved if there was any type of exception. In the second big step of this workflow, that's where we're bringing in our subledger information for accounts receivable. Again, it's through a direct database connection, this time with SAP FIAR database. Now, I've mentioned direct database connection. 70% of our customers leverage a direct database connection in one way, shape, or form. One of the biggest benefits to that is our ability to drill back. There's a lot of information coming in, but if we ever wanted to go back and see the transaction in SAP, or if you actually just want to get a glimpse of the invoice document, we can do that through drilling back. So for example, if I open up this invoice, I can see the originating document, which does not live in OneStream. Instead, because we're connected via a database, I can pull it up on demand. I can do that through the dashboards all the way back to the stage table that you see here. Now, the workflow I want to walk you through is this one where we're importing a file. So as I mentioned, Gulfstream is an SAP shop. However, we recently made an acquisition, and the company that we acquired are using Microsoft Dynamics. So they have to provide us a trial balance file so that we can bring all of the financial data together. So the first step, so the steps of this workflow are laid out in these chevrons above. The first one is import. Now, I did that in advance of this demo. So what you're looking at here is a stage table created from the file that I just imported. I can see that file here, fairly simple: accounts, cost centers, descriptions, balances, etc. Now, we have that file set as a data source in OneStream, so we know exactly how to read it, how to get rid of the headers, the footers, and parse those columns so that they end up in the right place in this stage table. So the first piece of our data quality would be through this validation step. Now, we're doing two things here. One, we're making sure that we understand everything that we just brought in, from that file. And the second thing we're doing is applying any transformation rules that are set up in the system. So as you transform accounts to a more consistent corporate structure, that's where it's being done. Now, when I validated, I got an immediate error. And what this error is telling me is that there was a source value, there's a source account on that file that we did not recognize as part of our account dimension. This account 10200 is unknown to us at the moment. What likely happened is that somebody in Microsoft Dynamics went in and set up this account and didn't tell anybody. Now, in a lot of worlds, this would require me to call IT and say, hey, I need you to map this file that Acme just set up so that it can get into our OneStream. But we don't have to do that here because again, the power is in finance's hands. So I can come in, I can look through my applicable account dimension that we're leveraging here. I know this is a cash equivalence account, so all I would need to do is select cash equivalents, and it sets that as the target for the transformation. So when I save it, it's going to do two things. One, it's going to clear the error and allow me to move on in this process. But two, it's also going to create a transformation rule. So next month, if we see that account again, then we will know exactly what to do with it without getting that validation error. Now, the next piece of this is we are going to load and process this. Now, what you're seeing behind this looks very similar to the stage table. However, this is the now transformed data. So the stage table lived in the import, we validated and transformed it, and now this is the information that we're going to be promoting into our financial model, so that we're ready to report on it. And then the second piece of our data quality engine as it relates to this workflow is the confirmation step. Now, this is where our customers can configure rules that really provide checks and balances to the actual financial soundness of the data. So here I'm asking questions. A couple of questions about whether I loaded information, including trial balance and headcount. Check. Does our balance sheet balance? Is our cash balance greater than 0? And this one, it's asking, is our sales detail within a threshold of our third-party trial balance sales account value? The sales detail was loaded at the direct subledger, and the trial balance was located then. So now I can look at this and say, yeah, most of my entities are $0. They match up completely. This one, however, is off by $52. Because that's within this $1,000 threshold, we're going to allow it to move on with a warning. If this was a $1,052, we would stop you, and you would have to address that, that anomaly before moving forward. Now, the last piece of this workflow is the workspace. Now, workspace steps are typically ones of review steps where you can go in and actually see dashboards or reports and get some information before moving on. So in this case, what I'm looking at on the left side of my screen are my draft financial statements for my balance sheet and my income statement. And when I interact with it on the right, I can see the actual source data that we just loaded that make up the lines on this balance sheet. Likewise, if I look at the income statement, here I can look at all of the different revenue streams, wholesale, e-commerce, direct, and see the invoice details over on my right. So I have full view of both the output as well as the input. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move a little bit further along in this workflow. And then I'm going to go back to slides just to close off that data quality piece. Okay, so just from a connectivity standpoint, we can integrate with systems in a number of ways. Flat file imports, you just saw me do that through that Acme trial balance. Web services, APIs, etc. We connect with SAP through a variety of means, and also that direct database connection. And as I said, one of the big benefits to direct databases, it allows us to quickly and easily drill back to source for things like originating documents or ERP transaction information. Now, we connect with ERPs, of course, but we can also connect to other systems in the organization, HR systems, so that we can bring in accurate people planning details or personnel details for people planning, or even if you're doing any kind of employee demographics for like an ESG reporting. CRM systems, if you want to bring in sales opportunity details, point of sale systems for retail organizations. The point is, whatever a customer wants as part of their financial model, we can bring it in and factor and incorporate it. So as I mentioned in my platform slide, what we did on top of this, these core services that we just talked about, we added financial intelligence. Now, traditionally, the different rules for how things are handled need to be built out via business rules. And so what we did when we built this platform, we said, okay, there are certain things that companies need to do as part of their finance operation. So let's just go ahead and make them part of the platform. So things like how currency may be handled in a multinational organization, how intercompany matching and eliminations are done, advanced equity breakdowns, allocations, any kinds of consolidation or adjustment. These are things that everybody has to account for, and they might do it a little bit different. But what we wanted to do is we built in these rules that are inherent to the platform and allows our customers to choose the ones that are the most applicable to them. So one of the good examples here is this intercompany matching. Intercompany is a function that's out of the box on OneStream. So I'm going to come in, I'm a little bit further along in that month-end workflow, and I can actually, I've just kind of processed all of the things that we've just done, including forms and journals. And now I can come in and I can see information about intercompany. So intercompany is its own dimension in OneStream. So when you build out an account, you can flag it as intercompany and you assign to it what we call a plug account or a balancing account. And if there's any residual balance left in these accounts at the end of your month close, we're going to call it out here. So in this particular case, this is all of the balance accounts for the intercompany cost of goods sold and intercompany receivables, and you can see that we don't have any unbalanced amounts. But if I look at this other account, this is my intercompany receivables and intercompany payables, you can see I have a couple of unbalanced amounts here. So this is all out of the box again with the setup. So I can come into any of these. I can see the balances on these accounts in multiple currencies. I can look at the difference here. The difference is actually giving me an additional layer of detail. Somebody put a comment on here to explain why there is a $39 balance. In this case, Acme loaded a payable that missed the books at Rocky Mountain Clubs. So what you see here is kind of the standard out-of-the-box financial intelligence. I'm going to demonstrate how you can take that a step further with some of the visualization building blocks of the platform by showing you a dashboard that we actually built out around intercompany matching that leverages not only that out-of-the-box functionality, but it leverages one of our marketplace solutions, transaction matching, to show you that we can do this not just at a summary level, but at a detail level as well. So when I come into this dashboard for intercompany here, I can see, I can select entities. I can select my balance account, which books I want to focus in on. Here's an aggregation of all my comments this period related to intercompany. And then up top, I'm looking at a grid of my entities showing me where the matches and the mismatches are. In the center of the screen, I'm looking at my account details, where this is where I can actually go in and see actual transaction level detail. So if I choose this one from Acme, this is the intercompany account between Acme and Rocky Mountain Clubs. As I mentioned, we've added that our transaction matching marketplace solution to the mix so that we are matching not just at the balance, but at each and every one of the different transactions. So that allows us to go in and get this level of detail. So our intercompany books, I'm actually going in, I'm looking at between Acme, Rocky Mountain Clubs, and seeing all of my matched transactions here. If I switch over to unmatched, now we're seeing transaction level details for that $39 we looked at before. So again, the intercompany eliminations, just one example of out of the box financial intelligence that comes with OneStream. This is just more of a take it further via our marketplace solutions. So the biggest differentiator that I would say we have that allows our customers to house all of their CPM in one single application is this concept we call extensible dimensionality. So I'm going to give you a quick example here, and then I'm going to go in and really kind of show you how it's built out in our demo application to kind of see how it can work. So we talked about the dimensionality in that spaghetti slide where, you know, it's hard to have one solution cover all of the unique needs of the various disparate aspects of any organization. So that can cause some issues. So in this very simple example, we have corporate reporting net sales, and under net sales, they need to see operating sales, intercompany returns and allowances, and other outside sales. Now, reporting up to corporate is a business unit that's responsible for manufacturing. Manufacturing needs to see the same structure, but they need an additional layer of details under operating sales. They need to see third-party sales, OEM sales, sub-assembly, and part sales. Business unit 2 is a services division who, under operating sales, need a totally different set of accounts that they need to use. Management revenue, services revenue, and event revenue. Now, this is a simple structure, but this has historically been hard to solve for. A lot of times, the work that you see here need to be done in, like, say, an Excel, and then pushed into your kind of reporting systems at this operating sales level, or this needs to be managed through a set of security and privileges where operating sales is built out with all 7 of these accounts, and you can only see one or the other depending on what business unit you're in. It's just a hard problem to account for. But OneStream created this concept of extensible dimensionality to solve just for this, because what it allows us to do is flex dimensions by other dimensions, meaning that when I'm looking at the information from business unit 1 forecast, this is what I see. However, if I switch to business unit 2, then this is flex and I can see what I need to see from this example. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into OneStream, and I want to open up kind of a back-end screen a little bit, just to give you an idea of how this is built out from a dimensional structure. So our dimensional structure shows our account dimension. And one thing I want to call your attention to is Gulfstream has multiple entities. We manufacture and sell golf clubs, for example. We manufacture and sell golf carts. We run properties. We build golf courses. So we need to keep that in mind when this account dimension is built out. So you can see that the account dimensions are hierarchical. We have a summary account dimension. Detail account dimension rolls up to that. And then we have a different account structure that roll up to detail. So if I look at these accounts members from the summary level, and you can see that it's arranged by the standard financial statements here. So if I look at my income statement, I'm going to see a pretty concise list of accounts here that we're going to use at this summary level. Now, this is, you know, a list of accounts you would say used for board level reporting or high level long-term strategic planning. Not a lot of detail here. Now, when I look at this from the detail account dimension, what you'll see is a much longer list. Now, everything in gray was what's inherited from the parent dimension, but everything in black are the expansions. So now you see revenues has been split to product revenue, services revenue, other revenue, etc. Now, as I mentioned, we have multiple entities here at Gulfstream. So if I look at, say, the motors division, where we make golf carts, you can see that product revenue is now being used to track lines of revenue: direct to consumer, dealership, and motor parts. Whereas if I look at the equipment division, I see an entirely different set of accounts that I use that are relevant to me that report up to product revenue. So really what extensible dimensionality does, it provides operational relevance, but a reporting structure where you can clearly see how it can flow up all the way to that corporate level of reporting. Each line of revenue goes to product revenue, which then ends up in revenues. You can see how it can flow up this dimensional structure to make reporting accurate all from top to bottom. Okay, so the next differentiator we have is our relational blend and analytic services. So again, these are the building blocks of being able to leverage operational details within your financial reporting. So just a quick kind of infographic here. We have, you have your financial statement level broken down by your corporate chart of accounts. Our extensible dimensionality allows us to slice and dice that even further, so we can see things by supplier, by customer, by product, by sales region. But as data is coming into the platform, we're getting a lot of good operational or transactional details, things like bill of materials, invoices, order numbers, SKUs, things that we want to be able to incorporate into our reporting, but we don't necessarily want to throw in our financial model because from a performance level, that could cause just a lot of information being in there to slow things down. So what we do is we leverage this concept called relational blend, where we keep this information in relational tables, but have it tied quickly and easily to the financial data. So now that allows us to see things like revenue by customer down to the order number, or revenue by customer SKU, or we can see costs by department and employee. And these subsets of data provide the basis for the solutions that can be leveraged and built on the platform. So costs by department and employee provide the basis for people planning, revenue by customer and SKU for sales planning. It also enables us to leverage these operational details to really capture those, the financial signaling piece, to know what's happening right now, that middle part of the CPM thing that I talked about, what's happening right now to better steer the business. Let me jump into the platform and show you a couple of examples here of how we can leverage reporting to do just that. So first, I'm going to make a quick stop over here in the financial reporting, because I want to show you kind of some standard financial dashboards before we get into the fun operational stuff. So when I come into financial reporting, I'm going to see some pretty basic stuff here. I'm going to see a 24-month trend showing me my month-to-month revenue, gross incomes, cost of goods sold. I'm going to see some key performance indicators up here at the top. At the bottom, I have a price volume mix showing me via a waterfall chart my budget, my actuals, and all of the different reasons for variance in between. I can see the details on those variances down below, along with commentary. Now, commentary is it's a big thing in OneStream, because comments are pervasive. When I add a comment to OneStream, it's tied to a piece of data. So if that piece of data ends up on another report or another dashboard, and there's a place for comments, that comment will travel with. Meaning I don't have to go look at one specific report to see what the controller said or see what so-and-so said. I can actually have that comment be pervasive and travel with. I can also see my sales by region for Rocky Mountain clubs, where I can see a heat map of the states. Our dashboards can be very dynamic. So for example, if I want to look at Maple Leaf Clubs, our Canadian club manufacturer, you can see this map update to give me a provincial look. And if I look at North America equipment, it's going to give me the full picture. We've also incorporated a Sankey diagram showing me my P&L flow. On the left, you see the top of my funnel where my revenues are coming from. And then we can see how it breaks down along the way. So it's breaking down between cost of goods sold and gross income. I can see how that gross income is broken down between the total operating expenses, depreciation, total, and then all the way down to total operating income. There's also a layer of analytics built right into this. So for example, if I look at that gross income, I'll look at my actual, my budget, my variance percentage right here, and I can also expand this to see it at product by product level. So right from this rather broad dashboard, I can get down to details with variances, budget and variance right there. One more financial dashboard I want to show. In our financials, this is just a very clean and easy way to look at your financial statements. So right here, I can choose the entity that I want to select it for, my income sheet, or my income statement, my balance sheet, my cash flow. I can specify level of detail I want to see. In this case, I want to look at details. And then I can look at, I have different types of views. Think of these as column sets where I can actually look at, I can vary my columns based on what I want to see. So for example, if I want to look at my variances in balance sheet with any commentary, I can do so. Now, all of our reporting in OneStream can be perfectly formatted to be more presentable, sendable report. So for example, if I want to look at the report view, now I'm getting it as something that now I can export in a variety of ways or send in a variety of ways. So those are a couple of examples of the financial dashboard. Really why I came in here is because I want to show you how, in addition to these high-level finance dashboards, we can leverage operational information to really get a feel for what's happening so that you can make changes on the fly. So when I come into my operational reporting dashboards, up at the top, I'm met with my top 5 KPIs that I need when running Gulfstream. So I have my quantity sold, my gross sales versus target, they're doing okay. My discount percentage, my net sales, my gross margin, we're falling behind and we're not really where we want to be at this point in the month. So I can now leverage the dashboards that I've built around these KPIs to really try to see if I can get a feel as to why is this happening. So the first one I want to look at here is this customer scatter report. And I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. But what this is showing me is by sales region, it's showing me the quantity sold and the gross margin. So if I look at this, obviously the more I sell, the higher my overall gross margin should be. But if I look at central, and if there was a line here, we could see it. Central's a little bit below that curve. So I want to see as to why that could possibly be. So I'm going to interact with that. And what we're going to do is we're going to leverage the extensibility here to break that down by state. So now we're looking at all this, a state by state look of that central region. And you can see that same curve all the way up here to Michigan. But over here on the right, I'm seeing a couple of states, Texas and Illinois, that are not where they should be from a gross margin percentage. That's kind of an issue to me. So I want to look at perhaps why that could be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at Texas here. And when I select Texas, you can see down below my customer order details has now pivoted. Now this is the relational details. This is the actual order information that we can now pull from that analytic services layer, that relational blend, and see the relevant transaction information for Texas. So because gross margin is my issue, I'm going to go ahead and sort by gross margin, and I can see that we have multiple ones that are in the negative, and I don't have to look very far to see why. In this case, an 80% discount has been applied to several of these orders, and it doesn't, it stays pretty high going a little bit further down. That's a problem to me. Our discount percentage target is 18%, but here we have a good handful of orders being discounted at 80%. Now, I don't know why this could be, but now I can do something about it. I can talk to the sales leaders in Texas and say, hey, I need an explanation for these orders. It's driving down two of our KPIs, our discount percentage and our gross margin. And so now I have that operational details to be able to support that. Another quick example here that I'm going to show is looking at customers. So now I can see my customers. I can see some good details. I'm able to sort and filter. I can see coverage by field office, segmentation. I have an 80-20 chart to see where the gross margin the most gross margin is being made. Up here is what's interesting to me. It's the number of stores with orders by customer. It's showing me year over year, and it's giving me an indicator as to whether that number is getting higher, decreasing, or staying the same. So East Farmers here, which is third in gross margin, has had fewer and fewer stores ordering from us year over year. So this is a concern to me. I want to dig in and figure out why this could potentially be. So I'll pivot over here to my customer details area. And we're really going to drill in on East Farmers. And so when I do that, now we're getting operational details related to this one customer. My location status is showing me the buckets of the customer. So existing stores are ones that have ordered from us and continue to do so. New stores are ones that have placed their first order within a defined threshold of time. And then churn stores are ones that have not placed an order in a threshold of time. So I want to drill in on that. And when I do, the rest of the dashboard will pivot around just the information related to those churn stores. So one, I can see where they are. They're located up here in the northern states, particularly Wisconsin, also up here in the Pacific Northwest, Northern California, et cetera. But more importantly, down here, we can leverage the transactional information that we have to present to us potential reasons why they churned in the first place. So here it's showing me the days since the last order. It's showing me my return percentage, which is high, sometimes as high as 50%. It's also showing me that our average ship days are all over 4, which 4 is our SLA. So what this is in essence telling me is that for these churn stores, we've had a bad habit of shipping late or shipping poor or incorrect product, generating a high number of returns. So at this point, all I've done is I've identified kind of a bad trend. I've found the reason for the trend, and now I have the power to do something about it. I can speak with my partners at East Farmers, do what I can do to ensure that these type of things don't happen again, and get these previously churned stores ordering from us once again to drive up that gross margin. So the idea is leveraging these operational analytics on the platform will allow you to make these decisions, better manage the business, so that if I come back later on in the month and I look at my KPIs, then we're going to see a market improvement. so that we'll see things aren't in the red and that we've made positive strides on them. So those are just a couple of quick examples of how you can do this, but operational details can be used all throughout the platform, whether it's for forecasting, whether it's for reporting on actuals. It all leverages that relational blend and analytic service layer on top to be able to do that quickly. So last thing I want to talk about here is our marketplace, or more specifically, our solution exchange. So we want to allow our customers to do what they want on our platform. As I mentioned before, we don't tell customers how they have to plan and report. They tell the platform, and that platform can be built around that. And in that spirit, we want to allow them to do more and more in the platform. So we created previously our marketplace, which was a place where we built and supported multiple products or multiple solutions that can be downloaded, configured, and deployed by our customers. As of our recent Splash conference, we've actually rebranded this to the Solution Exchange, and that Solution Exchange has 3 pieces: Marketplace, which is what it was and always has been; Partnerplace, where our partners like Performance Analytics can actually build solutions and market them out to the OneStream community; and then Open Place, which is more of a community sharing, community source place where our customers and our partners can build utilities and dashboard components and share with one another, so that they can leverage some of the great ideas across the OneStream community. So just a couple of quick examples. Marketplace, we have productivity tools like things like Task Manager and guided reporting; specialty planning, things like people planning and capital expense planning; close solutions like transaction matching and account recs. And I will add, the marketplace solutions are available at no cost to our customers. They can be downloaded and can be deployed as they want to start using these functions. So with that, I'm gonna wrap up this demo. Happy to answer any questions, but for the time being, I'm gonna pass things back to Peter and Graham to talk a little bit about what we saw.
Okay. Well, thank you, Stephen. I want to take a minute to talk about OneStream implementations. We've been working with OneStream extensively for the past few years, and our experience and our customers' experience has been very positive. We found it to be similar in effort and time and duration, as it was with BPC implementations. So, what does that mean? Well, in broad terms, a consolidation or planning application could be 3 months, 6 months, or even longer if very, very complex. Of course, we would need to have a detailed requirements call with you to provide you with an accurate estimate. And again, like BPC, OneStream is primarily administered by finance. So today you probably have a BPC administrator, and that same person or role could do the same for OneStream. And lastly, I'd like to mention it's to your advantage to choose a partner who knows both BPC and OneStream. Okay, an example of this, and just as a reminder, we've developed a BPC to OneStream conversion utility. The utility takes only minutes to export your BPC metadata and build the representative OneStream application. And there are 2 key advantages to this utility. Number 1, it's great to see what your application will look like in OneStream before you start designing and building. And you get to see it in action. Understand the terminology, touch it, feel it, and gain insights into how OneStream works. And secondly, you can use it to take a snapshot of your BPC history and move it as is into a OneStream cube as an archive. In this way, you can always retrieve the historical information once BPC is decommissioned. As we have the BPC and OneStream expertise, we're offering to convert your BPC application to OneStream at no charge. Just drop us an email and we'll get the ball rolling. There is a 6-minute, well, there's a link, it's not here, but there is a 6-minute YouTube video to show you how the conversion works. Oh, there it is. Thank you. Okay, next slide. So yeah, how do we work with you? How do we help you? Well, I recommend we start with a 30-minute discovery call to understand where you're at and where you want to go. And from there, we can discuss whether OneStream is right for you. If it is, as a next step, we can convert your BPC application to OneStream using our conversion utility. Half a day of your time is all that's needed to do that. Following this webinar, we'll be sending you a link to the replay of the webinar, a copy of the slides, which has the links within it, and of course, the ability to schedule some time with us with the link you see here on the screen. And that brings us we want to leave 15 minutes at the end for Q&A. And looking at the time, that's what we have right now. I don't know if any questions came in, Graham, so I'll just quickly ask you, did we have any questions that we can take right now?
Not yet. There's no questions so far.
Okay. Okay, well, we'll just take a minute. Well, I know you do have, like I said, you will have our information if you think of questions later and you want to fire those off to us. And also, like I said, we're happy to have a scoping call with you, prepare an estimate, and talk about whether or not OneStream is right for your organization. And with that, maybe we'll just give you 14 minutes back in your day, and look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for giving us your time today. This ends our
Thanks,
webinar.
everybody.